I know what you're going to be most excited about in all of this. The empty cardboard box. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Also, why is your tail wet? Thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. Hey friends, welcome back to Book Break. My name is Lucy, and hang on, let me put my coffee down for this. My cozy, comforting, witchy debut novel, Rewitched, is officially out today, the very day that this video is going live. So that is equal parts exciting and terrifying. But I also have my own YouTube channel where I have been sharing the wild rollercoaster rides that has been publishing this book. But most of the time I just share what I hope are super cozy little vlogs of my life, because coziness is a state of being, a state of mind. I take it very seriously. If you ask me, life is too short not to be cozy at all possible opportunities, and that is why I am very excited about this mystery box. Well, not that mysterious, with a giant Macmillan logo on it, I guess, but this has appeared on my doorstep this morning, and I thought today we would dive right in and find out what's inside. I will also just preface this video by warning you that my cat Flo is just wandering around. You might be able to hear the little tinkle of her collar every now and again. For some reason, she just cannot resist when she hears me talking to the camera. She just has to get involved. And you might have spotted there is a little cat on the cover of Rewitched here. This is Jinx the cat, and she's also on the spine just above the title here. And she is actually my cat. She is a tribute to Flo. I'm not sure how my cat has managed to take over the entire process of my debut novel, but she is very much the star of the show. So Rewitched is the story of Belle Blackthorn, who is a burned out witch who's kind of let the spark of her magic fade away from her without even entirely realising it. She's working at her beloved Luna bookshop, which she's kind of raised from the ground up and poured her whole heart and soul into, and now she's trying to protect its charm from her very toxic boss, and all the while conceal her magical powers from everyone around her in the non-witchy world. But then the day before her 30th birthday, Belle receives an unexpected letter from her estranged coven to let her know that it's time to face her Equi-Witch trial. And this is a test that will decide once and for all whether Belle is worthy of keeping that magic that she's been neglecting for a while, or whether it deserves to be taken away from her for good. There's wonderful magical women and an unexpected, very mysterious magical mentor, and a very infuriating but equally magical watchman who's been sworn to protect her. Basically a whole lot of magic, and it's cozy and it's comforting and it's 90s witch inspired, the golden era that I absolutely love. And at its heart, it's a story that's all about remembering the power of your own potential as you get a little bit older. So that is Rewitched. I hope it ticks all of the cozy boxes for you this autumn. By the way, take a sip of pumpkin spice latte for every time I say the word cozy in this video. I think by the end you will in fact turn into an actual pumpkin. So Rewitched aside, all I have been told about this giant mystery box is that it contains a selection of must-read cozy books, which I'm inevitably going to love. That already sounds like a bit of a dream come true, and I can't wait to dive right in. So I would recommend grabbing your warmest cardigan, some kind of hot drink which may or may not be pumpkin spiced, your fluffiest pair of socks, maybe even a cat, and let's do this. I feel like I need some kind of drum roll, some kind of big dramatic, oh my god, I've already seen something which I'm so excited about, and that one. Okay, this is looking real good. I'm just gonna close my eyes and randomly select one, like some kind of old-fashioned grabby 90s arcade machine, and see what we come up with, because I have no idea where to start. As a book lover, this is slightly overwhelming. Let's do... Okay, we're off to a very strong start. And also a very lucky start, because I have actually read this one. There is a copy of it on this very bookshelf behind me. These bookshelves are absolutely quaking by this delivery, by the way. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit all these on there. I have read and loved this book so much. This is The Spellshop by Beth Durst, and it's a little cozy fantasy that follows wallflower librarian Keela into an unexpected dabbling with illegal spell selling. Up until now, when her story starts, she has been the librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, and she and her assistant Kaz, who is easily my favourite part of this story, Kaz is a sentient spider plant. Obviously. They've been living a very quiet life together, holed up amongst the Empire's very precious spell books, and kind of part of the system of protecting the magic for the elite, but then rebellion kicks off. There's a revolution afoot, suddenly the library is up in flames and everything goes to chaos. Keela manages to escape, but magic usage is now banned for anybody who's not a sorcerer, and Keela has found herself with crates and crates full of illegal spellbooks. And it is perfect for a sprinkle of innocent, warm, heartwarming cottagecore fantasy. If that doesn't sell it to you, I don't know what will. Okay, it's no joke to say that my TBR is actually taking the mick at this point. Like, it's kind of a joke at this point. When I'm writing, I really struggle to find reading time, so my TBR is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But despite that, you best believe that this author is at the very top of it, because every which way I turn, someone is raving about how much they love BK Borison. I have heard nothing but amazing things. This is Business Casual by BK Borison, and I believe this is actually the fourth book in the super popular Love Light series. Each of them are like standalone romances, but technically this is the fourth in the series. And they're all set in this very charming small town of Inglewood, where love is very much in the air, but everything's also so cozy at the same time. So I will probably work my way through the first three first. I tend to be a stickler when it comes to series rules, and I'll save this one for a rainy day. But a buttoned up chino wearing corporate man, an untamable tattoo artist who's easily distracted, a small town of meddling friends, and enough tension to set both their hearts on fire. I'm in. I am a major hardcore Gilmore Girls fan. Anything that's set in an autumnal small town, you can count me in. And I've also got my eye on the new BK Borison series, which is inspired by Nora Ephron movies. And they are pretty much my main personality trait as a human being. So all in all, I suspect I've probably got a new favourite author on my hands right here. I don't mean to alarm anyone, but I can see cats. There's books with cats. Sound the alarm. 1 cat. 2 cats. 3 cats. 4 cats. Pretty much my dream life. So this is a genre that I know is gonna absolutely steal my heart, and I don't just mean because the cats are on the covers, although that is an easy win with me every single time. It's actually not something that I have even delved into yet. I think maybe because I know it's gonna take over my entire life, but cozy translated from Japanese fiction with cats on the cover? Yes. Yes, sign me up. They all just seem so wholesome and delightful and magical, and I suspect it might be the new book niche for me. So let's do a quick rundown of these. This cover is so beautiful. This is Toshikazu Kawaguchi's Before We Forget Kindness. And I'm gonna start with this one because I feel like Before the Coffee Gets Cold was the book that kind of really blew up this genre. It really brought it to my attention anyway. And this is actually now the 5th in that series. That's how much it's taken over the world. Set in this Tokyo cafe, which is very mysterious and magical, and customers arrive hoping that they can go back in time. And we have 4 new guests in this one who must all follow the rules. They must all return to the cafe before the coffee gets cold. And I think what makes these stories so amazingly popular is that they walk that really kind of heartwarming line of nostalgia between something that's so comforting and lovely to read and also gives you that really kind of ache feeling in your chest, which is just like so moving and really just emotionally beautiful and captivating. So I'm really looking forward to giving this series a try. Wow, these covers are an actual work of art. Just taking the time to look at these. This is The Lantern of Lost Memories by Sanaka Hiiragi. And look at that. I feel like I would love a print of that on the wall. It's so beautiful with the pink cherry blossom. It's divided into little short stories, and this is set in a photography studio of the afterlife. It's the place that you visit straight away after you die, and you find a photograph of every single day of your life in this photography studio. The man who runs this studio will turn your favorite of those photos into a lantern for you to kind of relive the feeling of all of those favorite moments. And then you can choose your number one very most precious photograph to kind of go back into and really truly relive that moment. I just thought that was the most beautiful and really comforting concept for a story, and I'm sure it's probably going to make me cry. And I'm fully sold on the covers of these two as well. Look at those orange and blue colour schemes. So cute. This is the Kamogawa Food Detectives, and I think this is the sequel, The Restaurant of Lost Recipes. These are by Hisashi Kashiwai, and these are the books for you if you love really like rich, gorgeous writing about food. It's about this strange little diner which is very mysterious and only advertises in one particular place, but it doesn't actually give anything away. So anyone who's like really genuinely desperate to find out more has to do their own digging and prove how much they want to go there, discover it all for themselves, and eventually they'll be able to find enough clues to lead them to the Kamogawa food detectives. And of course, the reward for all that hard work is the most delicious, incredible, amazing food that the universe can possibly have to offer you, the best food you could ever eat in your entire life. And as well as that, at the diner, you also meet this kind of family detective duo whose specialist subject is that you can tell them in as much detail as you possibly can about any incredible meal that you've ever had in your life that you can't quite remember where it came from or where you found it. They'll go off and do their research, and then 2 weeks later, they will serve you that meal and you can relive that moment. And just so magical, because we all know that food that means a lot to you is never really just because of the food itself. It's always tied into people and memories. There's always an emotional tie to food like that as well, which makes for a really lovely story. So I just know these are going to absolutely steal my heart. This is the one. This is the one. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree is one of my ultimate 6-star favourite books of all time ever. I loved it. This is technically a standalone. You don't have to have read Legends and Lattes, but if it is anything similar, I know that I am in for such a good time with Bookshops and Bonedust as well. To me, reading Legends and Lattes was the epitome of autumnal coziness, and the thing that I love so much about these stories is that you think you know exactly what they're going to be, but they are the complete opposite of that. They slot straight into this world of, you know, epic fantasies and giant battles and really high stakes. Everything feels like it should be a part of this really like overwhelming fantasy lore, but it's actually the total opposite of that, and it instead zooms in to these like tiny little normal cozy moments of that kind of world, which just makes my heart very happy. So Viv's career with the renowned mercenary company Rackham's Ravens isn't going as planned. Wounded and packed off to recuperate in the sleepy town of Merk, she's so far from the action that she worries she'll never be able to return to it. What's a thwarted soldier of fortune to do? I ask myself the same thing all the time. Spending her hours at a struggling bookshop in the company of its foul-mouthed proprietor is the last thing Viv would have predicted, even though it may be exactly what she needs. But a suspicious traveller in grey, a gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling and an improbable number of skeletons soon prove Merk to be more eventful than Viv could have ever expected. I'm going to start this today. I can't wait for this. I genuinely think about Thimble and his bakes from Legends and Lattes probably every time I have a cup of coffee. No exaggeration. Oh, this cover. That is truly delightful. Okay, I'm in. This is Swordcrossed by Freya Marske, the Sunday Times bestselling author. Fantasy romance at its very best. Well, this is an easy sell for me because anything with swords involved, you immediately have my attention, and it also probably guarantees that I will fancy every single character involved in this story. Dutiful heir to his struggling family business, Matanesh J needs to make sure his arranged marriage goes off without a hitch. To protect against any challenges at the altar, he decides to hire an experienced swordsman to pose as his best man. Enter Luca Pierre, part-time con artist. I love a con artist, a fictional one, and full-time charming menace. Okay, yeah, that's the perfect description. A scorching enemies to lovers bodyguard romance filled with magical adventure and roguish charm. That included probably about 10 of my favourite bookish phrases. Roguish charm describes every character I've ever fallen in love with. It's like Pam Macmillan considered me a crazy cat lady. I don't know what gave them that impression. Obviously, you can't have a cozy book haul without throwing some cozy murder into the mix, can you? That feels illegal. Cozy murder is 2 words that shouldn't go together, and yet they very much do. I'm already fully interested in this little guy here, but let's actually read the blurb. Retired police detective Lulu Lewis's life changed forever when she met a street cat named Conrad. There's something very special about Conrad, but it's a secret she has to keep to herself. When Lulu takes a narrowboat to Oxford, she's planning nothing more stressful than attending a friend's birthday party and drinking a few glasses of Chardonnay. But a brutal murder and a daring art theft mean her plans are shattered. Ain't it always the way? Instead, she and Conrad find themselves on the trail of a killer. A killer who may well strike again. So this one is the cat who solved 3 murders, but it looks as though this is actually part of a series because there's also the cat who caught a killer, which was the debut, and the series continues with the cat who solved 3 murders. I imagine they're probably all standalone. There is something so delightful about a crime-solving cat. I just can't possibly explain it. Next up, we have Rebecca Thorns, Can't Spell Treason Without T, and the follow-up, A Pirate's Life for Tea. First of all, A+ punning and rhyming. Kind of similar to BK Borison, actually. These books have been on my radar for a really long time and are very much part of my TBR, which is just kind of swaying and flailing all over the place at this point, slightly like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But I am just so excited to read these because they sound like such a wonderful, fun time. Pirates and tea. Yes, please. A match made in heaven. The first one, Can't Spell Treason Without T, is an absolute beloved fave on the internet these days. A cozy fantasy steeped in love, and I have such high expectations for this. I know I'm going to absolutely love it. Royal bodyguard Rayna and elemental mage Kianth dream of leaving their dangerous lives behind. They could open a bookshop instead, serving the very finest tea and cakes. They imagine worn wooden floors, plants on every table, firelight drifting between the rafters, all complemented by love, tea, and good company. But after risking too much one too many times, the pair decide to run away and make their dreams a reality. In the town of Tawny, nested in the icy peaks of Dragon Country, they set up shop. But trouble is brewing ahead. A heartwarming journey, brimming with peril, magic, and a love of tea. Now look, I'm very much a coffee girl, but I think for these, I will make a very rare exception. There is a little blurb on the back which says that this is for fans of Our Flag Means Death and Bookshops and Bonedust. That is a crossover straight from my dreams. Oh, okay, this is very intriguing. This is a very different addition to the bunch actually, but okay, book break. Okay, I see what you did there. Because you can't really fully embrace cozy season unless you are also willing to embrace the, you know, the less cute side of autumn. A really big part of moving into autumn and winter is making sure that you are looking after yourself properly. So this one, How to Winter by Carrie Leibovitz, something a little bit different to the stack, but probably one for those of us who aren't quite living for the cozy winter months quite so much and who generally kind of miss the sun as a concept. So this is a non-fiction and really helpful, full of like evidence-based strategies that should be able to help you not only figure out like how to get through the winter months, but how to actually like fully embrace and enjoy them. Do you struggle to stay positive in winter? Do you dread the long nights and dark mornings that come with autumn's clock change? Do you find our endless grey skies, drizzle and cold difficult to deal with? Because let's be honest, the autumn that I kind of go into this part of the year with in my head is not necessarily the reality that the UK likes to give us. It's just giving grey most of the time, isn't it? Practical, easy to follow advice for transforming our experience of wintertime, including altering our language around the season, developing winter rituals, I love that idea, and joining the rest of the natural world in making time and space to rest. That is exactly what I will be doing with this giant stack of books, and that sounds really interesting and helpful if that is something that you struggle with. And last, but by no means least, this might actually be the one of the bunch that, actually, having said that, I think I'm getting carried away. There are so many that could be number one of this bunch. But can we just take a moment? Da, 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 da. Spotlight, confetti, rainbows, magical sprinkles. Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the sequel to the beloved House in the Cerulean Sea, one of the ultimate cozy fantasy books of all time, one of my faves of all time, probably one of the most magical reading experiences anyone can ever have. Casual New York Times bestseller, I suspect you probably might have heard of it. One magical family, 2 dedicated guardians, 6 dangerously gifted children. Arthur Parnassus has built a good life on the ashes of a bad one. As the headmaster at an orphanage for magical children, he works hard alongside the love of his life, Linus Baker, to protect their extraordinary and powerful charges. But when Arthur is summoned to make a public statement about his dark past, he finds himself at the helm of a fight for a future that those under his care and all magical people deserve. When a new magical child joins them, one who thinks he's a monster, Arthur knows they've reached breaking point. Challenged from within and without, their volatile family will need to grow stronger, or everything Arthur loves could fall apart. I am sure that if you fell in love with the characters from The House in the Cerulean Sea, if you loved everything about its charm and its magic, then this is going to be an equally game-changing book. Can just about fit these under my chin. That's officially your full rundown of must-have reads for cozy season. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this little unboxing. I had the best time ever, and I cannot wait to get stuck into all of these. It's the best time of year, guys. It's the time of year where curling up with a blanket and a book just feels extra right. So I guess all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. Happy cozy season. I also really hope you enjoy reading Rewitched, which is out right now, and I will see you very soon. Bye. I mean, that is actually quite ridiculous, isn't it? They're also going to fall any minute. Out.